Fractional reserve banking. The best book written on it. It's called The Most Secret Science by Archibald Roberts. That's where we've given you that criteria. You'll probably find it on the internet or whatever. The book is called The Most Secret Science. The author is Archibald Roberts. It's a book that completely unravels fractional reserve banking, and actually even has a chapter on Magna Carta. Senator Metcalf, the crucial question is, where was that $1 billion just before they touched the computer and put it in the checking account? The answer, it didn't exist. Now, can you create something out of nothing? Let that dwell on you, because that's your banks, and they will not reveal to you that they use fractional reserve banking. Because they say, the money we give you comes from our shareholder fund. It does not. It comes from their purported ability to create a credit on a piece of paper or a computer and transfer it over there. The answer, it didn't exist. We the people allow a private banking system to create money at will out of absolutely nothing, to call it a loan to our government and then charge us interest on it forever. That's a Senate inquiry. That's why it's the Senate saying that. Now listen to the next quote, Senator Quigley, USA. This is all in that book. Are you saying the Federal Reserve Act gives to the national banking system as a whole? Now, any of the Australian banks, actually American banks, absolutely, has a whole the power to create money in addition to what you've said about the Federal Reserve specifically? Answer, yes. The fractional reserve system implemented under the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 allows the banking system as a system to create money to expand the money supply. Now that should be your government's ability, not a bank's ability. Why did you give it to the bank?
We didn't. They just took it.
No, the Commonwealth Bank was sold in April 1991. It's a statutory constitutional bank. Why'd you let them do that? The authority to expand or contract the money supply by changing reserve requirements given to a private banking system puts our whole money system in fearful jeopardy. Is that happening now?
Yes.
Because what they're actually saying is, we've got a problem but we think we can prop it up and therefore it's got fixed. No, that's just getting you ready for them to collapse it. By simply saying, well, it collapsed because we couldn't support it. But in actual fact, they wanted it, they built it to collapse it. Why? Because this is what will happen. When Australia can't pay its interest, and that'll be called up in one day, they just simply say, internationally, we declare Australia bankrupt. That's all of yours. Everything that you put up against that money, unbeknownst to you, is then under international bankruptcy, which means they own your property for the next 20 years. Got it? What are you going to do about it? Now this is the ANZ. We've only done the ANZ for this one, for another reason. That's the major shareholders of the ANZ on our last check of the shareholders of the ANZ. All of those are interlocking shareholders. There's a myriad of shareholding tracking, and you go into thousands, etc. You'll find them all what you call offshore and disposable, which means they can go out of existence on any particular day. And do you think they'll give you back your money? Can I ask the question again? Do you think they'll give you back your money?
No.
Do you think they lost it or they just moved it?
Moved it.
Now the banks would say, you shouldn't be talking about us because we are really good and representative. Problem is, do you practice fractional reserve banking? Now here we've got what you call the Australian Government Guarantee Scheme for Large Deposits and Wholesale Funding. Certificate number ANZ L00264, date 12th of the 1st 2009. Rudd borrowed a lot of money from the ANZ on your behalf. Well, where'd the ANZ get it from? From the shareholders' funds, wasn't it? Are you getting the drift? Did Rudd know that this is how they were doing it? It says, the Commonwealth of Australia hereby certifies that the liabilities, the details of which are specified in an annex to this certificate, are guaranteed liabilities. You guaranteed the bank liability. So when Rudd stood up and said, we'll guarantee all the deposits in the bank, did he? Did he put through any legislation in the Commonwealth Parliament to make that happen? The answer is no. But did he give the government guarantee to the bank instead? Yes. There it is there. So this guarantee is going backwards rather than forwards. For the purpose of the deed of guarantee executed on behalf of the Commonwealth of Australia, which takes effect on 28th of November 2008, signed by authorised signature. Now we have Commonwealth of Australia Securities, which in actual fact has a New York office, a New York mailing address, but it's registered in Delaware. Now what does that mean? That if you had a problem in the government with getting that money back, and you have to take a legal action in Delaware to get it back. But you've got to be a registered citizen of Delaware to lodge the action. Got it? Annex. Now that's the money, some of the money, only some of the money that's come in from the ANZ to Rudd. That's actually $2 billion. Maturity at 16th of the 1st, 2012. 3 years away. Then the next one is $2 billion. Maturity 16th of 1st, 2014. And it's to be cleared in Euroclear. There's the debt you have to pay. But you have to pay interest on it too. Is interest in God's interest? That's the point I put it in there for. So is this United Nations using banking to collapse your economy? To make you submit? So should your dependence be on money or on Almighty God? Make up your mind, because you're only going to get one choice soon. And they're going to make it for you if they haven't made it now. Government and Freemasonry. The king and the craft. Well, that sort of says it all, doesn't it? That's why I'm not a monarchist. Neither am I a Republican. Either one of them is going to dip you in the gutter. The only person you can go back and trust is Almighty God. The king and the craft. That's the United Grand Lodge of England. Now that's a portrait of Queen Victoria's son. We took the picture in the Masonic Lodge in Melbourne, in the foyer. At the time of the picture, he was the Grand Master of all English Freemasonry, the boss. When his mother died, he then became the King of England, so you inherited a Masonic king. Is that what you want? Because that's what's happening now. You're seeing the fruits of that. And that's why all this is happening to your state and your Commonwealth and your constitutions. Well, there's your Queen, and that's why I'm not a monarchist. I'm not a Republican. Because that says the Queen is the head of the most venerable order of the Hospital of St John of Jerusalem. Now, I won't mention red words. That's a Catholic order of Freemasonry. How can the monarch of England be in a Catholic order if she hasn't breached the 1688 Bill of Rights? Is that reasonable? Did you see a Masonic handshake with her and Rudd? So with that handshake and with that picture, the conclusion is reasonable, isn't it? You have a Masonic monarch. There's your former Governor-General. Now you all know he used to be your governor here. He's the head of the SAS. He's a highly trained and decorated military soldier. He's not a yahoo. He's probably a good guy. But once Freemasonry gets hold of their head, they turn them around in the spirit. And here it says, new Governor-General had committed Freemasonry. Now he ran your country for a period of time, and then he passed the baton to Quentin Bryce. But what's Quentin Bryce? There she is, your current Governor-General. Look at the smile of Grandma. Beware of Grandma. Beware of this lady. Because she's a dame of grace of the most venerable order of the Hospital of St John of Jerusalem. Catholic Freemasonry. Member, Australian delegation to the United Nations Human Rights Commission, Geneva. So she's working the UN program. There's her hubby. He's also a Knight of Justice in the Order of St John of Jerusalem. He's also the